It's Thursday, September 9th. That can only mean one thing. It's the opening night of Halloween Horror Nights 2021. We've got some new mazes. We've got some returning mazes. The Terror Tram is back. Let's go see what it's all about.
Now, before we dive too deep into the review of the event itself, I do want to give you guys a couple of updates. For starters, officially, there is no opening ceremony. However, if you stick around the Flame Towers around 7 p.m., which is when the event officially opens, there is a little show moment that happens when the scare actors come out. So although they're not officially holding people in this area for an opening ceremony, if you do stick around, you will get a little something. Now, for those of you who watched my last video, you know that I highly recommend that you arrive at the event early and take advantage of the early admission, especially if you're there on a night and you don't have Express Pass. This is the best way to beat the crowds. And now, after going to the event, we know that the mazes that are open at 6 p.m. for early entry are the Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which are both mazes down in the lower lot. So I highly recommend, if you don't have Express Pass, and if you're there, especially like on a weekend, say a Friday or a Saturday, head down to the lower lot. The Exorcist, although it is a repeat maze that we've seen before, they still did a great job with it, and I loved it inside of a soundstage. I think it really amplified the intensity of the scares, and it made the effects look really good, because typically with some of the tent mazes during the day, you do get a lot of light bleed, but now it's nice and dark in there, and it's also very air conditioned inside of that soundstage. So if you need a break from the heat, this is definitely where you want to start. Also, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was kind of a sleeper hit. I was very blown away by it. In terms of scenic design, they actually did a lot. There was very little empty space. There was tons of scares, lots of Leatherface, lots of his family, lots of victims in the maze itself. So I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So beat the crowds, take advantage of the early entry, go down to the lower lot, do the Exorcist, do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the third attraction that's open for early entry is the Terror Tram, the ultimate Purge, and I highly recommend that you do that after you visit the lower lot.
Terror Tram is back, and I can honestly say it's better than ever. I actually really enjoyed the Terror Tram this year. They did a lot of awesome things to the route by the Bates Motel. They had a lot of fun scenes, lots of scare actors. When you went up by the Bates house, they kind of give you a better option of whether or not you want a picture with Norman, or you can just walk by the house, which is a nice little feature. And then there's a pretty fun gauntlet area that is all ghillie suits for the most part, and a lot of peek-ins. Again, a lot of scare actors here. And then, of course, there's the crash site from War of the Worlds. I love the way they lit this up. They had party music going. And again, scare actors everywhere. There was no escaping them, and I thought that was really awesome. Love what they did with the lighting. Love what they did with the costuming and the theming for all of it. So yeah, overall, Terror Tram, pretty fucking fun.
Also, it finally happened. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter was open during Horror Nights, and I honestly loved every single second of it. All the shops were open, the restaurants were open, you could get your butterbeer at night, and they also had some really awesome projection on the castle and some spooky sound effects to really set the mood. And you actually have to walk through Hogsmeade to access the new maze location behind the Curious George parking lot that houses the Haunting of Hill House and Pandora's Box. Now, the walk over to this new area was actually really easy. It was probably less than a 5-minute walk, way shorter than the walk down to the back lot. And although you don't get a scare zone, they put some cool projections up on a wall. And again, the route itself to get to those new mazes is super short. So that means less walking and you'll be at your destination in no time, which I really appreciate.
All right, we just got out of the Haunting of Hill House. Honestly, there were some pretty neat things inside of this maze. A lot of cool scrim work. The bent neck lady, she's everywhere. She's definitely kind of like the main character of this story. Also, the bowler hat man makes some pretty cool appearances. I guess the only judgment I have of this maze is that there would be moments that would lead up to a scare, and it's cool, but at times that meant that you kind of missed the scare. You would hear it coming, and by the time that it actually hit, we would be turning corners and completely miss it. Outside of that, lots of great decor. It's very dark in there, very spooky, and you do see some pretty interesting parts of the house. So, Haunting Hill House, not bad at all. I would definitely not wait too long for it though. It's not the most intense of mazes. So if you're looking for intense scares, maybe this one isn't for you. But outside of that, we had a good time. Oh man, the Curse of Pandoras Box. It's pretty much the same as it was in 2019, but I'm honestly not angry at that. I actually really enjoy this maze. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It reminds me a lot of like the classic haunt mazes, stuff you would see back in the early days of Not Scary Farm. It's got that cool little show moment right at the beginning where Pandora's Box opens, you walk in, the neon lights are fun, the scares are fun, very intense. So yeah, Pandora's Box, good times. Bride of Frankenstein lives. I mean, holy shit. This was easily the maze of the night. First of all, you start out with the beautiful facade and Slash's score, so gorgeous. I feel like it truly emulates the score of the Bride of Frankenstein, the movie, which is also really, really beautiful. But my God, the scenic design in this maze, the lighting, the performers, they were all so fierce. They were on it. The vampires were super intense. The Bride of Frankenstein looked awesome in all her iterations. From a storytelling standpoint, it was fantastic. And again, all the sets were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I want to live in this maze. I don't ever want to leave this maze. This is definitely going to be a must-do for me every time we come to the park. 10 out of 10. Enough said. Bride of Frankenstein lives. Do it. Do it. And then to top it all off, you exit into Silver Scream Queens. What a high energy scare zone. I mean, honestly, with the fog going, with the lighting, with all the little vignettes they have built, it's honestly super, super awesome. Definitely the scare zone to beat. Sorry, everybody else. It's the perfect finale to accompany the maze. So honestly, all around, 10 out of 10. Great job.
And finally, there's the returning Halloween 4, which we last saw in 2018, but this wasn't an exact repeat of the maze, which I definitely appreciate. We lost some scenes, but we gained some new ones as well, and there was also some really awesome changes like the scrim scares in the backyards of Haddonfield, and the finale, which was changed to a mirror maze, which never failed to get me.
Well, that's a wrap on our evening here at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights 2021. It was honestly such a blast. I mean, you can tell my voice is pretty much gone from all the screaming. Everything about it was fantastic. It's great to be back. It's great to be smelling the fog again. The scare actors were on point tonight, absolutely on point. Big shout out to Universal Studios. Thank you for having us here as part of the opening night. It was truly an honor to be here. And I can't wait to do it again. I've got a freaking fear pass, so I'm basically going to be living here now. And well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you enjoy watching stuff about haunts, be sure and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter for all the latest haunt news. You can visit us on the web for links to all of our stuff. And you can check out our podcast wherever you download your podcast. And until the next time, thank you for calling the Haunt Line.